guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, inspired by this wig, this is everything. Yes, I was thinking I could go for a very, hi there, Ashley from the future. So if you want to know how I achieved this makeup look, please keep watching. Mwah. Right, so the very first step for me, my skin type at the moment, I am currently having a few spots, a little bit breakup, but usually my skin type is lean on the more dehydrated side. So I'm a big fan of BB Cushion. I want to use this one up quite badly, and until then, I will try to save my coin to not buying things I don't need. Yes, I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of this. You see new things and you're like, I want to buy it, and you're like, I still have 20 of the same thing. It's like nude lipstick. They all look the same, but they're different. You get what I mean? So we're literally just going to put this all over. I don't really feel the need for a primer, as my skin, like a different primer does different things for your skin. But as for like a daily, day-to-day wear, I don't usually bother with a primer, just because my skin texture is usually completely fine. If I do have a dry patch, then maybe I'll consider more hydrating primer, so then it grips better. And in terms of applying foundation, I well, BB cream in this case, I focus more on where I get pigmentation, which majority of people is the center of their face, which is pretty much where I'm patting. And then I blend the residue of the product just out. You don't need to cover everything. The other key is you need to find a shade that matches you, otherwise it's something. So now that you've done the foundation, that you've selected according to your skin type and appropriate need, we're going to go in with concealer and contouring. But we'll start with concealer first. So the goal is to for concealer, is mix pretty much twice, brain cells, function. So you want to match it to your foundation. I really like using spot concealing technique rather than having a thick layer of foundation, just because if I can use the minimal amount of product possible, it just looks more natural. So we're gonna just do this on just the blemishes. So I see one here. Tend to pat, and like it looks like a blob at the moment, but what you can do is either use your finger to blend around it, don't touch the center because you don't want to remove the pigment you've just put, or use a fluffier brush like this and pretty much slowly, lightly and gently blend out the edges. By doing so, you still have the coverage. As you can see, it is gone. Still keep the coverage and also make it look natural with not too much excess product. So I'm pretty much just going to go around and cover all the little blemishes. Same concept, you find the blemish, like that one. I'll use a brush just because I want for like more coverage, because when you use your finger, you do lose ever so slightly bit of coverage as it does stick. I find it sticks to your finger pads more. Conceal spot, it is now time for the under eye. My goal when I do foundation, personally, of course a lot of things up to preference. Some people like that snatched, sculpt look. I do too, depending if I'm going to be standing in a bright light studio like photo shoot, etc. But for day-to-day wear, so that it looks nice on a daily, because sometimes you know what I'm talking about. You'll be seeing these like square and people walk around and you're like you know, but never mind. Right, so as we can see on my face, we have got shadow right here, so a little bit goes a long way. So I normally put plenty of product just there, and then a little bit more here, and I put another dot there because my eye naturally droops downwards. Kind of want to just pull it up a little bit. So that's all I put down for concealer, and I don't think it's necessary to have your concealer one shade lighter than your skin tone, because unless you're really going in with that brightening I am awake effect, for me I just want my skin to look like skin, and then that's about it. So in this stage you could either go in with your finger or your brush as per. I'm actually going to be using both. So we can see that's buffed out. The dark circle is now gone, and I'm just gonna pull that bit up as well. We can see that my eyes are significantly more awake, and in real life I would actually pat this down with my finger. And if you did see me day to day, sure, it does remove a little bit of product using your finger. However, if you see me real life right now, it looks like I've got nothing under my eye. There is nothing there. So that's why I like to use my finger just to blend it out. Move in a bit closer. Same thing now, do to the other eye. Okay, so now that we've got concealer on, we are going to go in with a little bit of contour. So, see if I can find my brush. I would normally use a less denser brush in this. So in this, the coolest tone is there. So with a contour, you want it to be more ashier tone, because otherwise you just look like you've got a bronzer. And everyone's face is different when you use, what's the word, a contour, pretty much. So in my case, this is how I would personally do it. So based on my Asian feature, I want my nose to be significantly taller. Even this is too warm. Like, I need to find more products. So I will outline. So my goal on my nose shape is I want to make it taller. Then we're just going to do that. Doing this works for my shape. And I want to create extra shadow on this side, so then provides a little bit more depth. So I actually go in a little bit more with shadowing just on the eye. Right, so that's the outline for my nose. And for my face, I'm trying not to block the mirror. For my face shape, at the moment I'm wearing a wig, so forehead a bit lower than usual. I would personally, because my face is quite round, want to snatch it up. So we're going to go from about here. I don't bring my contour kind of like past my eye, like that kind of angle, just because it can look very strange quite fast. Just remember, you can always build up as well. Like, you don't need to go in with that harsh line at the very beginning. Likewise, do it on the other side. There we are. Okay, so as you can see, my contour, that bit looks a little bit insane. But this formula is a wax base formula, so it means I'll be able to blend this out better. The reason I've done it quite big is because my face shape is round, it is wide. I'm trying to currently narrow it down. I won't take it past this bit because I don't want to shorten my forehead any further. So I'm just only going to stick this bit there. As you can see, it does look a lot smaller. And then of course I always do my double chin that sometimes exists, sometimes doesn't exist, depending on how much sodium I have that day. You know, it comes and goes. But the same with this is I'll just sculpt it. And then the other good way is to push the chin out and then, yep, eliminate it. Maybe a little bit more precise than that. But just follow the natural line. Then drag down. I do wish this was a little bit ashier, as it would look a lot nicer. Okay, so now we've got the overall general look of it. I'm going to go in with a small fluffy brush and blend in my nose first. Because this is a creamier base as well, it just makes blending an absolute dream. Like, that was zero effort. There's no need to tug my skin and prematurely age myself. Ta-da! Nose is done. So now we're just pretty much going to blend it, like, as you can see. You don't want any harsh lines, by the way. Skin does not have harsh line. So I'm going to go in with a bit more detailed brush just to get that into the hair kind of area. And that bit also. Alright, so now we can see that is smooth. That's what we want. Fluffy brush are a dream to blend with. I drag it down quite low as well because your natural, when you move around, you have a natural shadow, almost like that kind of shape. Yeah, that's my best way. So that's why I'm dragging it almost a V shape down. And then boom, you have your contour. Well, now you need a little bit of highlight. So I'm a bit strange. I don't always put on I find glittery highlight to be sometimes quite fake looking. That's not always my thing. So what I do instead, I actually just go in with a pigment which is lighter, like a shade or two, lighter than my foundation shade. In this case, just pop it down the center of my nose. That's a lot product, that was a mistake. I want to lift my face, so I'm actually going to pop it a bit on my brows. So I actually haven't dipped, this is one dip and we'll keep going. I want to lift off my forehead a bit, so I'm going to pop that there. I want to make my cupid bow pop. My chin also, I want it to pop a little bit more. And my cheekbone. So you can go with a glittery highlight, or you can actually just use shade a little bit paler. So this is actually from one dip on the concealer on my entire face. You don't need any more. And to be honest, that will do. Now we go in with the same concept of a fluffy brush and we just buff it out. I put too much on my nose. Whoopsie. Whoopsie daisy. Yep. We got too excited there. So actually, if you can see, I'm trying to lift my face, so I'm actually just putting the concealer kind of almost like straight up, because you can see my brow naturally just droops down. So that kind of lifts the brow as well. Then, same with this. So where you normally typically so wherever your face, when the light hits, that's where you want to put highlight. If that makes sense. So for me, I know it hits there. And I want to pull that bit as well, so just going to go blend. So after we did foundation, then spot concealing, then contouring. Usually once all the products are blended, where you spot conceal sometimes can move because your contour's been placed there. So I actually go in with a second round of spot concealing to match everything and marry them together. In this case, none of my spots actually sit where my contour and highlight were, so I was fine. But sometimes I will go in again with a second round of spot if I am doing a cream contour. With a powder contour, I won't be doing that extra step. But yes, so now this is our skin. Very, very skin-like and very glowy. Okay, another thing you can do if you want it to look more skin-like is, this isn't for everyone, I will say this right now, but use a stain or a cream base blusher instead of, oh, come on, I can speak. Yes, instead of a powder. It looks significantly more natural. And blush placement does matter quite a lot. I just want to look very dolly, and a lot of times when you see kind of like Japanese inspired makeup, they have a lot of blush just right here. I think that's a word for it, I can't remember. I did Japanese language, I'm such a disappointment, I'm so sorry. But a lot of the blusher is placed around here, so it gives you that kind of like cute drunken look. So that's where I'm focusing my blush. Usually I would be trying to lift my face as my face is round shape. I would place my blush around here and I'll pull it up. But today we are going in with something slightly different. I want that cutesy kind of look. Oh, also, there's lots of also. Pink dye, like a stain. So the red kind of pigment can actually clog the pores. If I remembered correctly from what Dr. Dre said, a lot of reddish dye can actually cause an inflamed acne, so please do check that. I know this is fine for me. I use a lipstick for my blush many times before, and I know this works for me, but do check that. So I'm just putting blush, and I'm just putting this up a little bit more. Honestly, if you can see me in real life, you would not think I've got any makeup on. Also, nearly forgot. I get, well, not just me, lots of people get veins around their nose. So don't forget to hide that as well, because our foundation or BB cushion wasn't very pigmented. So we gotta go in with a little bit more colour just to hide that. And ta-da, that is the base. Now we're going to go and set it. Wait, before we set, I actually decided I want freckles today. It comes and goes as preference. I naturally have some anyway, but I thought we enhance it. The best way to make your freckles look, your fake freckles look very natural is if you start off with a base which isn't set. So right now everything can move on my face because it's like wax base, oil base right now. If you use a pencil like this, match it to the shade of freckles, which are usually brown tone, from like a very more pigmented one to like lighter. So what you do is you warm up the product to the back of your hand. My face is already very warm, so this will melt in with barely any effort. So just literally dot it all over the face. The key here is lack of pattern. You cannot have pattern, like symmetry, when you do these things, as in freckles, because they pop up whenever they want to pop up and wherever they want to pop up. Usually they concentrate on the nose area. So pop, 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 dot, 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 dot. Okay, the dot's too big there, but it's okay, we can fix that. It's not an issue. Just pop it here and there as well. Right, now that I'm satisfied with the sheer amount of freckles on my face, we don't just leave it like this, because right now everything is all nice and waxy. Your finger is nice and warm. What you can do is, see, I can show you from that. If you pat it in, you're not moving all your hard work you've done earlier on, but it makes the freckle looks like yours. Boom! Lots of little freckles. Okay, the next step, there's lots of steps, we're applying translucent powder. I like translucent powder over those baking powder, just because, okay, baking is a whole issue on its own that I will touch on upon one day. But it's because with translucent powder it looks significantly more natural in real life. It just looks seamless. We're just going to go in where we need it. So in my case, we've now saturated the brush. Just getting rid of all the bits. Pat lightly under the eye, because that's the bit I want to reduce the shine. With this formula as well, it does move a little bit more. So I would be applying more than I usually would. On the forehead, so we're not as shiny, we go back in again. And here. Also, I like putting it on my eyelid. Eyelids are incredibly oily. We'll be doing eye makeup later on, and if your eyelid's really oily and you don't put a primer on it and put a concealer, damn, that's sad. I'll explain later why, but please use an eye primer. So now that we have set our face with powder, I don't do baking. Doesn't matter what circumstance I'm in. I could be doing a day-to-day wear, a photo shoot wear, a night out, blah blah blah. I don't do baking personally. I just don't like it, the way it sits on the skin, the way I feel like it just ages you. You could be an infant and bake, and I find it just doesn't look as nice. Personally, some people love baking and it just snatched their face. Tell me your secret, because maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I don't personally bake. I just like coat dusting. Is enough for me. Right, enough chit chat. Now the next stage is our eyebrows. I want my eyebrow to be significantly lighter than what I have right now, as my wig is quite light. So we're going to go in with a cup of brow product. So we're actually going to using my bronzer, and we're using that as eyebrow powder just because the shade is nice. nice for what I'm going for. And as my brows are already microbladed, this makes my life 100 times easier. So I literally just fill over it. Okay, so now that we have two eyebrows, I still want them a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to go and do is go in with this, oh god, I never remember the name, Misha. And this one is, I'm pretty sure, in the shade Blonde. It's a mascara, but for your eyebrow. And you just brush it in. Just so that it gives my eyebrow that more of a blonder look, rather than the dark brown kind of look. Because naturally, my eyebrows, you can't see that much of a difference. Actually, you can kind of see it on this. But in real life, when you see this, my eyebrows will look almost blonde. Okay, we have achieved the blonder eyebrow looking, and I'm satisfied with that. So our next step is now eyes. Okay, for eyes, I know concealer. Some people use concealer as primer. I personally do not. No. But as we saw early on, I dusted my eye with a little bit of setting and translucent powder, just because my eyelids are very, very oily. I know people say you need to do cream first, then powder. This is an exception if your eyelid is very, very oily, and I know this worked from practice. So now we're going to go in. This one is the Benefit Stay Don't Stray eye primer. I'm putting it where I need it. I think today, like this. I always put it like this because most time, 9 times out of 10, I always do, what's it called? Eyeshadow at the bottom part of my eyes as well. And you can go with a brush or your finger just to blend it out. Same concept. This one also provides a little bit of pigment, so it does help brighten the lid of my eye, making whatever I put on top, whatever colour pigment I put on top, more vibrant. There we are. First step, I think I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 colours. We'll see. Well, one way to find out. I'm going in with a pastel pink. This is the James Charles palette. I've already spilled a lot of stuff on it. I'm so sorry. We're just going to go in with this big brush. Normally I'd use a smaller brush, but I haven't cleaned the brush and I just couldn't bring myself to use it. Okay, what the shape do I want for today? I want a round dome shape for my eyes. So I'm going to carve out a dome shape almost. Okay, so now that we've got the top part, we're just going to go in with the exact same shade on the lower lash line. I wouldn't usually use a brush this big, but it is what it is, you know. Okay, so now the next colour, we're going to go with the James Charles still, the pastel baby blue kind of colour. We're just going to take that on the inner corner. Okay, so now here comes the cut crease part. We're using the foundation. Gosh, it feels so wrong putting foundation on my eyes for some reason. And I want the socket to be here. If you hear screaming child in the background, there's a screaming child in the background. Okay, another trick on eyeliner is, now that I put it on, I look at this angle, fantastic, perfect. I look straight on, I can see. In real life, this isn't going to work for my eye shape. So, best way to do eyeliner, in my opinion, is to look straight on. So then now I can see, okay, actually, the eyeliner, I need to pull that bit. Oh, I forgot to dip. I need to put a little bit more there. So by doing that, it actually looks a lot nicer if you see me in person. So it doesn't do like this weird gap. So sometimes just like try a different angle and just look straight on for eyeliner, just to make sure that it suits your eye shape. We're going to do the same thing, but on the other eye. So these ones are already pre-cut to my eye shape. Don't be afraid, please, to cut your false eyelashes, because not all is going to fit everyone's eyes. So all is different. These actually has magnet strips. There's five of them on it. But I cut one out because it didn't fit. So let me see if I can just show you. So it literally just pops onto the eyeliner. Boom. That's it, done. So easy. Show you even closer. I'm going to put the mirror there so I can see it. But you literally just go, oh, no, I don't want it just there. I want it about there. That's it. Done. They're both on. So, back to the eyeliner. This isn't a self-promo or anything, but I'm just very excited about my eyelashes. You know, that's the thing. When you make something, you're like, I want to share. But with the eyeliner as well, it does not come off. See if I can get some water. This is not going to be very pleasing, but my hand is filled with water and I am rubbing like we are. That's the eyeliner. Okay, so now that that's on, I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of mascara. So by now we know I love the telescopic mascara. If I want my bottom eyelash to be even more prominent, what I normally do is I put a base coat, so normally it's white, and you just pop it on first, but if not, just go straight in with this one. I really like this because it does honestly provide eyelash to non-existent lashes. Something magnificent about it. Okay, so here is one eye without the lower lash mascara, and this is with 2 coats of the mascara. It makes a heck of a difference. Okay, so now that we've got that step, I actually want to go in with a red lipstick. I think I'm going to do it in this one is Fenty Beauty, this stuff is golden. One of my, actually no, I take that back. It is my personal favourite red lipstick, 100%. What I'm going to do is kind of like that exact action. It's a bit rough, and then I usually go in with a fluffy brush, just blend out the edges. I'm just attempting to locate a brush. Actually no, we're going with a finer tip brush just to fluff out the edges. So now that we have that, I want to put in some gloss because I think gloss just looks nice. Just pop it all over. Just add that shine and life back into your lips, you know what I mean? Right, so that actually concludes the entire look, and here we are, a little closer. Thank you so much for watching to the very end of the video. I hope you like the final look, and I hope you learned some tips and tricks and something somewhat educational from this video. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you have a fantastic day.